Wonder Woman is directed by Patty Jenkins and stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Ewan Bremer and Lucy Davis. After a terrible run of DC movies, I was really hoping for Wonder Woman to release and buck the trend of bad DCEU movies. Then the trailers started to come out and each one just kept impressing me more and more, which was making me think that this will be genuinely great. So was it? A definitive, absolute, strongest yes I could possibly give. The story is that an American spy pilot crashes in the mysterious land of Themyscira and meets the Amazonians. While there, he comes face to face with the woman who saved him, Diana Prince. When he tells them of this great war going on in the outside world, Diana decides to go with him and help him fight the war for the good of the world as the amazing Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot absolutely nailed Wonder Woman. She was one of the few things I actually liked about Batman vs Superman. However, I was still skeptical about how she could handle her own in her own movie in the front line. But she was fantastic. She really impressed me with the emotional scenes as she really managed to pull it off. She really did embody everything I sort of remember about Christopher Reeve's Superman, which was a really great thing to see. You could tell she really presented that hope in a hero, and also she was really having fun with this role. Chris Pine was great as always. He is a very reliable actor who you can always use and he will always give a fun performance. He has perfect comedic timing and he really did make me laugh. His character was fantastic and had almost the same amount of attention and screen time as Diana herself, which I was really happy to see, and it really highlights both of the characters with their strengths and weaknesses together and how they actually complement each other. The action is extremely well directed. I have to congratulate Patty Jenkins for delivering a perfect direction for this movie. It is tight, focused, and really highlights how badass Wonder Woman really is. All of her cool weapons really do get time to shine, and they are each used in really different and interesting ways that really highlight all of Wonder Woman's powers and what she's capable of. This is also a beautiful and beautifully shot movie. Especially when they are on Themyscira, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Then we move over to the war, and it's dark and gritty, but in a really good way. Unlike other DC movies, this film actually has colour. This is a great thing. They have really nailed the costume too. It really works well for the universe and it fits in with the world around it, but then again it also stands out in every scene, which makes it what you'd expect from it. So it is that blend of opposite points that really do make it work well in the film as a whole, and just in a general point, the costume is just really well made and looks beautiful. The chemistry between Diana and Steve Trevor is absolutely flawless. They really grow together as characters and the way their roles reverse is super interesting. Steve starts off as a fish out of water on Themyscira and then that transitions into Diana becoming really apparent in the real world. This creates a lot of funny scenes but also a lot of really interesting and valid points, especially there's one scene in particular that I won't spoil where Diana's kind of exposure really helps bring to light some really relevant points. Lucy Davis from the UK office got a lot more screen time than I was expecting, but this pleased me as I'm a big fan of hers. The whole crew who works with Diana and Steve are all very funny and entertaining in their own way, which I really like. They're all differentiated by their personalities and each one was very unique and also a very good character as a whole, who I thought were developed actually fairly well considering they were new characters introduced into this film and this has been the only film. So I think that was actually really well done and handled well on the whole. Now the third act of this movie lets it down just a tiny little bit. The villain is really underdeveloped due to what they do with him and I wasn't a huge fan with what they did with it. However, as a whole this movie is just bloody brilliant. So let's answer the question. Is this the best movie in the DCEU so far? Most definitely yes. Before Wonder Woman I'd say Man of Steel was probably the best, it was fine. However, this movie is great. Not just great, wonderful. I honestly could not stop smiling during this entire movie as it just made me so happy that DC have finally made a good movie in this universe. And Man of Steel, like I say, it was good, it was fine, but this is a great movie. Overall, I absolutely loved Wonder Woman. It is a fantastic superhero movie with amazing directing, beautiful cinematography, good humour, great acting, and just an overall super movie. I couldn't get enough of this movie and I'm going to go watch it again in a couple of days. However, it's not perfect due to the villain problem it has in the third act, where the villain is quite underdeveloped and doesn't quite work with what they were trying to do with it, and I wasn't a huge fan of how they went around the villain situation. I give Wonder Woman an A.